I guess I just would ask you the simple question of what do you want the world to know? What do you want Mr. Doyle to know about what happened to you and what maybe things that people are not aware of?
So first of all, I want to ask you, please do not clap your hands and do not react to anything I'll say now. I really ask that. I don't know, the vast majority here seems to be us against one agenda, and I want it to be very, very clear between us, because I really, really want to talk to you in an eye level, and I want to tell you a story if you want to hear it.
Look at her.
I was kidnapped. First of all, I want you to know that I didn't watch the news for 11 years, because I don't believe the news can bring you positivity in life, really. I choose the context that I watch for 11 years. I'm an artist. I served the army 22 years ago. I served Gr8.Debate, which is the unit that held the Gaza line 22 years ago during the war Chomat Magen, if you heard about that. After a few years, I chose to be kind and better to myself. Therefore, I left the dream that I had to become Shabak or a soldier again or this and that, and chose to become an artist. I have all the signs on me. I had an Arabic necklace on me. I had the Indian Ganache tattoo on me. I had Pharaoh on my fingers because I'm half Egyptian and half Moroccan, but I'm Jewish, okay? And I have the letter I got on my hand. You know why? Because I believe in coexisting. Did you know that the vast majority of the hostages believes in coexisting? So I'm an artist, and on October 7th, I went to fulfill my dream. I went to make my dream come true. I've worked on that dream many, many years, but I didn't went through with it. I didn't believe that my dream will come out. I want to tell you that my best friend, she's Jewish, and she's married to an Arab person. She lives the front door, on my front door. She's my neighbor. I want you to know that my suppliers, my jewelry suppliers, are Egyptian and Arabs. I want you to know that half of my friends believe in coexisting, and we do have Arab friends between us. That's how I lived my entire life. I live in Beersheba, which is a coexisting city. Many people in Beersheba are Arabs. I don't know where you are talking about, and I invite you, seriously, I invite you to come to my country. And I promise you that I will hold your hand and walk you through it. And if you'll find anything with what you said in Israel, I will do anything you want. I will trust your agenda. When I was taken to Gaza, I was kidnapped. I was caught 3 times. And the last time, I was caught by 13 Hamas terrorists. 13. You doesn't have to. Don't force him. I just want him to hear it. He's a person. He is entitled to have his own agenda and opinions. We do not have to have the same opinions. I just want you to know the facts that you talked about, really. Right before the debate started, I wanted to ask you where you're from. Are you from here, from the US? Okay, I visited the US. I have the facts because I've been here. Have you visited Israel before? No. Have you visited Gaza before? Probably not. When he asked you what is a Palestinian and you couldn't answer it, then I'm asking you what is a Gaza civilian? Can you answer me? I will answer to you. When you're advocating for that, and I'm telling you, you're advocating for not have rights, for women to not have rights, because women do not have rights in the Arab society. You're advocating for people, you know, you're talking about genocide. Well, I'm here to say, when October 7 happened, and that's a fact, they told me it in the inside. They didn't know about the Nova Festival music. They didn't know that we had 3,000 people in there. They planned, and they told me that, they planned to move on and kill as much as they could in Be'er Sheva, in Tel Aviv, in Haifa. They wanted to slaughter everybody. You know what? Maybe you will not believe me. I can present you my videos that I took there. Do you know how many bodies I saw? Sorry, I didn't say it, my friends. Do you know how many bodies were there? Do you know how much violence was taken on me? I was caught in the middle of a lynch. I was presented as a soldier because I chose to wear a Green Army look-alike uniform that day, by mistake. I was categorized as a soldier, and I was treated as a soldier. I'm 40 years old. Look at me, I'm 40 years old. I have a dog and a cat. I had 2 cats, I lost one. I have a mother and a father and a sister and a brother that left their entire lives to try to help me. My mother found out, and if to be specific, my 12-year-old niece, I don't know if you have nephews, but my 12-year-old niece found out a video on TikTok. That's how my parents found out that I was kidnapped. Did you know that? Because I wish that we can have a private conversation, not with this whole audience, because it's terrifying me to hear people have that thoughts, and I really want to hear your side. I swear, really. That's me, that's my agenda of coexisting. But I'm asking you, do you deny that October 7 happened? Basic answer, basic question.
No.
No, okay. Do you support the action of October 7?
No, I know, and I never have supported
Okay.
the killing of innocents.
What would happen if the army couldn't stop them and they would continue? Would you support that? We went to dance. We didn't attack.
Wait, you're asking me if I would support the continued killing of civilians?
No.
So,
I'm asking you if you support the actions of people going to music festival, which is supporting freedom. Don't get annoyed. I'm really asking you as a person. Do you support those actions?
No, I've already said I don't support the killing of civilians.
Okay. If you don't support those actions and October 7th didn't happen, would we sit here talking right now?
Well, yeah, actually, we probably would be.
Yeah, you think so? Did you ever saw our people attacking that amount of people from the start, from our side? I'm asking simple question. I don't understand in politics.
Yes.
Yes? Have you seen it firsthand?
You mean, okay, you keep on going. Do you mean, was I in Gaza when they were attacking during Operation?
When I was entering Gaza, and I told you before, I have Arab suppliers, I have Arab neighbors and Arab friends. When I was entering Gaza, and there is a video of that, I saw 100% of civilians celebrating me being taken. I didn't know about the other hostages. I thought it was only me. I didn't know about that. All I saw is 100% of civilians lynching me, beating me up. I was with a broken leg. I had bruises all over my body. Do you know that I've never cursed them? I've never argued with them, and I've never treated them like garbage. I respected them, even when they abused me. Because I believe that if I want to be respected, I have to respect everybody else. So I'm asking you one thing and one thing only, because I see you're not comfortable. I'm asking you to check facts on both sides. It makes life better. And I had the privilege to be on both sides. And I told you, I started from a place that I didn't watch the news for 11 years, just because of that. Talk to people. Private conversation. That's the real facts. That's for me. Don't clap.
All right. Thank you, Moran.
The encampment. There are people who wear Stars of David in the encampment. There are people who have shirts that say Jews against genocide. It's not, especially like the fact that Jewish people are discriminated against in Gaza and in the West Bank.
It's just wrong. I need the Sinwar here at Point Blank. You know, and this is where we finish the business.
Problem.
You know, who kills who first, and we're done. But this dialogue, what's this?
You show it in a twisted
That
way.
we're supporting the
Yeah, but it's not working this way. It can't work in this way. Wait. Listen, there is a war, physical war, right? Okay, but there is much worse and bigger war in the social media.
Where's
okay?
David?
And that's running by the young generation, okay? I'm not even considering that generation. I'm all to your generation. You have to use it better, wisely, because when you do that, it's like what happened today. When one is against one, and you have the vast majority here, they will clap hands together. That's why I asked them.
I know.
That's why I asked them not to clap hands. I don't need the support. I want you to understand that.
I want to see what. Yeah, I think so. But we want to make sure that there is no trap outside. Okay, probably if you have a car, maybe you can help me a little bit. Just get to a safe zone out of this danger zone. Then from there, I think we can take it from there.
But going out from those universities, you'll become the leaders one day. Use it wisely.
But can you at least understand that some of what we're protesting is real and it's happening, and this is what we don't want to see happen?
You know what? It's happening in both sides. Reality check. It happens all over. There are bad people and good people in all the places.
Yes.
I'm here to say, you know what? I was in a building that has tons of children in it. Tons of children. And I couldn't see anything, okay? I could just hear. And when I heard them play in the street, it's like, you know, it was part music of the day for me.
Thank you for coming up, and thank you
That's
also
right
for
now because
for the
everybody will
audience.
want to do that.
Really appreciate it.
You know what? It took me an urge, but I'm thankful to myself that I didn't use it as in my angry way, because I'm a Moroccan. I can be really mad.
That's right.
Okay?
Great.
No, but
Yeah.
seriously, I really
Wanna
want you
take
to
control of the crowd.
hear me. I don't want you to yell at me. I don't want you to be mad at me. I really want to be able to stand next to you, have
All right.
different opinions,
Can you guys take
but we can still live
Can you
together.
guys take your seats there,
You know?
back where you were?
No, that's
You can continue talking. Have a seat.
part of the mission of what we want to see accomplished is Jewish people and Palestinians living together.
Yeah, but it doesn't show. It's not showing. When you're blocking Jewish students for going into universities, and you can agree with me, that was the first step. That was the first step. That's violence, my friend. Even if it doesn't use violence, that's violence. What you did is what happened to me. My freedom was taken. I couldn't choose and do what I want. They wanted to go to school. You took their freedom. That's the thing. You don't understand.
In that case, it's not really comparable because there were Jewish people in the encampment. So the whole idea that they were stopped from going in because they were Jewish.
They were stopped because they're Jewish. It shows in the videos.
No, I was there.
Oh.
Yeah. They weren't stopped because they were Jewish. They were stopped because they were worried that they would be antagonists.
Obviously, Aidan Moran speaking here.
1 minute per question.
Yeah, 1 minute per question.
You got my job. My question is to Mr. Hassan Yousef. As an Israeli, for a very long time, I feel extremely helpless, and I don't get any. I don't have much motivation.
What's the question?
I wanted to ask you, what would you say to the influencers, to the celebrities, to the surroundings, to the hadiths, to all of them? What would you say to them? Because their voices is so loud and ours is so small.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So we are dealing with a situation where a bunch of opportunists taking advantage of Palestine. All of a sudden, we have people so indoctrinated by artificial intelligence and by Hamas propaganda, who just basically spreading false narrative. And it looks like they are a lot more educated than Yasser Arafat on the topic. So we have a new generation of people who live in virtual reality. Those are the influencers with tens of thousands of following. And they want to build encampment, He's building encampment on UCLA. And I say, what's next? Well, this was a situation in Gaza 70 years ago. They started with encampment, the loser victim mentality. They built encampment, then later on it became tunnels and launch missiles. So I say to this type of mentality, what's going to be next? Are you going to start digging tunnels here at UCLA and possibly launch missiles at Beverly Hills? This is the victim mentality that I'm totally against, and it cannot be legitimized. They have been, and he say, I don't validate the killing of civilians, but in the meantime, he thinks Hamas is resistance, and he thinks resisting occupation that never happened, because Palestine never existed. You think that this is legitimate. So if it's not directly, indirectly, these influencers are complicit in Hamas crimes.
Do you have anything to say? You're okay?
I was not
okay.
focusing on this question.
Mr. Doyle? You don't have to. If you don't want to, we can go on another question. Okay, next question.
Thank you for being here. Very short question. This is for Mr. Doyle. What is a Zionist, and considering their historical and cultural ties to the land, as well as your view of justice, where should Jews and Israel go if the state of Israel was to no longer exist?
Thank you.
The Jews in Israel, if the state of Israel were to no longer exist, should stay there and should have equal rights under the law. That's why,
What's
at least,
first question?
I'll answer the first question next. That's why, as somebody who identifies as pro-Palestinian and somebody who I think has the same views as many Americans on the topic, what we want to see is equal rights for everyone. And what we see now is that not being the case. Now, in terms of what is a Zionist, I mean, there's a bunch of different types of Zionists, but probably the most generic answer, and I'm guessing you want to know what, like the average, well, you all know what a Zionist is. You want to know what the average pro-Palestinian person in America thinks of a Zionist. It's just somebody who wants to establish a Jewish state in the land of, in the region of Israel and Palestine. I don't know.
Wait, so where should the Jews in Israel go under your sense of justice?
Yeah, that was the last part of the question.
Yeah, that's what I answered first, is that they should stay essentially where they are and have equal rights under the law.
So should Jews be able to live in Palestine if there was a two-state solution?
If there's a two-state, yeah, of course.
Vida, your choice.
Hi, thank you all for being here. My question is for Mr. Doyle. I heard you mention the starving as a component of genocide, and I wanted to know, why is it Israel's burden to provide food to Gazans and not Hamas, the actual government of Gaza? Why do the three leaders of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, Musa Abu Marzouk, and Khalid Mashal, who are collectively worth $11 billion, not responsible for feeding their own people?
Great, so understanding why Hamas isn't able to feed their own people, you have to understand the agricultural situation of Gaza, which is that they're only agriculturally independent in two ways, and that's fruits and vegetables, which means that with the overpopulation of the land, 2 million people in a 25-mile strip, and with the relative lack of, certainly right now, agriculture, there is no growing of food whatsoever, being agriculturally and therefore being able to survive by themselves without any exports is actually impossible. Now the reason for this dates back to 1967 when the occupation of Gaza began, and you can say whether it was an occupation or not. There were settlements in Gaza. They took 20% of the land and they imposed laws on Gaza that specifically prohibited new agriculture from flourishing in Gaza, which means that they did things like banning the planting of more than one tree. They made sure that all agricultural exports went through Israeli vendors. And so this, I don't think it's controversial to say, systemic repression of the agriculture of Gaza, and also the subsequent overpopulation of Gaza and the disallowing of really anybody to leave or anybody to get in, has resulted in a situation, mostly with regard to the actual survival of the Gazan people through food, that is completely untenable. And then you talk about why is it Israel's responsibility to feed the people of Gaza? Well, it's Israel's responsibility because they were the ones who imposed the blockade in 2005. They're the ones who don't allow trade to happen. They're the ones who, maybe not entirely, but at least certainly is partially responsible for the economic devastation that's happened in Gaza, not just since October 7th, but before that as well. And also because before October 7th, 500 trucks, some of which were provided by Israel, a lot of which were provided by the UN, were driven into Gaza, and now the number is hovering around 160. Oxfam, as you probably know, has reported that there are some Gazan children surviving on less than 245 calories a day. But the responsibility, so whether Gazans are dying or not is absolutely true. The responsibility lies on Israel because of their actions with regard to Gaza in the past. Now, if you're saying that, I'll just finish really quick.
Just wrap it up. Yeah.
And I'll just finish really quick. If you're saying that the leaders of Hamas should do a better job of guiding Hamas or leading Hamas and taking care of the Palestinian people, I actually agree.
Okay, hold on one second. Moran, you had a response.
I really want to comment on this subject specifically. I'm a skinny person, and I lost 12% of my body weight inside captivity while my guards was eating in front of my face. And I'm here to tell you that, like I was speaking to you privately before, as a soldier, I know how to observe, let's say it like that, okay? And I was tracking the merchandise that came, the brands of the food. It comes from the same place, okay? And that's the merchandise that they bring to support Gaza. Do you know who takes that merchandise? Do Do you know who has food all the time in their houses? Hamas soldiers. Of course the civilians will not have it. And I moved 7 places, and I saw between 40 to 50 Hamas soldiers. They look good. They didn't lose weight.
No, I actually would agree with that Hamas should do a better job of taking care of their civilians. But what doesn't change the fact is that even if Hamas didn't hoard the food, if they do that to a large extent universally, even if they didn't do that, Hamas would still be starving. Excuse me, Gaza would still be starving. Sorry, Gaza would still be starving.
How that's true. They're working, they're going into Israel, they have their merchandise and the market. They told it themselves that the food got expensive now, not before. It was okay, the prices was okay. Did you know that they get discount in electricity that we don't get, and we support the electricity? Do you know that we pay more? I pay more as a citizen in Israel than the Gaza people. Did you know that? Probably not. We give them the electricity and the water, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same electricity, right? I pay more.
No, they give electricity to Gaza, which I think kind of illustrates perfectly.
I didn't have electricity, just saying. I sit in a dark room.
No, I know. Hamas taking captives was horrible, and people who were responsible for that should be put in prison.
It's all of them.
But the fact that Gaza has to be given electricity and they cannot sustain that by themselves is indicative of the horrific conditions of Gaza right now and before.
Is that okay? Let me just hold on a second. The thing that seems to be missing, and I'm not criticizing what you're saying. I'm just like noticing that the thing that's missing from your commentary is why, and why is there control of these things in Gaza? Is it just because Israelis don't like Gazans? Or is it because they're worried about their self-preservation and they have to control things to prevent things from coming over the border? Is that?
Well, as a part of controlling Gaza, they have completely decimated not only the civilian infrastructure, but the agriculture, the economy of Gaza. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. As a part of controlling it, so destroying the agriculture of Gaza, as they did, as I said, in 1967, has nothing to do with safety. So, if you're asking, is the reason that Israel has this embargo on Gaza because they're worried about their own safety? Well, there's 2 answers to that. Well, one, no, it clearly isn't, because they have put into place repressive policies in Gaza long before Hamas even existed. But secondly, as we know, these kind of repressive policies only increase the hatred. If they wanted to actually make peace, then they wouldn't be instituting embargoes. Now, it goes beyond that the embargo in 2006 was actually in violation of the ceasefire that they signed with Hamas. And so Israel's consistent violation of ceasefire agreements and peace deals is something that's not talked about nearly enough, and indicates that Israel's not just worried about their own safety, they're worried about making sure that they maintain the discriminatory policies that oppress the Palestinians in Israel and in Gaza.
Okay. I think. Hold on. I think I would like to ask you where you're getting that information from, because it seems like there's been quite a few breaches of ceasefires by Hamas that I don't hear any times that Israel is initiating those breaches. But and I know you disagree with me, but let's take some more questions. I just want to set the playing field here a little bit. So we're going to start limiting the answers to 2 minutes so we can get through this, because we want to really get all these people's questions answered. Yes, over here. We've got some people over here. Vita, could you got it? You got the mic? All right.
I have 2 questions for Mr. Doyle. I'll get them out as quickly as possible, and I hope you can answer both of them. Number one, you insistently evoke the Holocaust by accusing Jewish Israelis of genocide and putting Palestinians in concentration camps. The IHRA definition of anti-Semitism includes drawing comparisons of contemporary Israeli policy to that of the Nazis. So, do you A, believe the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance has misdefined anti-Semitism, or B, are you an avowed anti-Semite? That's A or B.
What's the definition?
It includes drawing comparisons of contemporary Israeli policy to that of the Nazis. You said you accused Jewish Israelis of genocide and putting Palestinians in concentration camps. So that's question one. That's just A or B. There's no option C. My second question is, there's an undeniable violent orthodoxy among your movement, in the encampment in particular, where anyone who advocates for the unconditional release of the hostages or the destruction of Hamas is physically attacked or blocked out of public spaces. So I'm grateful that you're here for a relatively civilized conversation, but how is your violent, exclusionist, anti-Semitic movement helping anything? And do you have a solution for the region and any ideas about the hostage crisis other than globalizing the Intifada?
Yeah, so the definition of anti-Semitism by what was it called? The
International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance.
International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. Yeah, that's ridiculous. You can compare, no, it is ridiculous. Well, because you can compare Trump to Hitler and nobody calls you, what, anti-Trump? It's just, or nobody calls you racist for that. It's ridiculous. You can compare the policies of modern governments, whether it's Israel, the United States, Britain, Iran, to anybody else. Now keep in mind that Israel consistently compares Hamas to Nazis, and yet nobody calls them Islamophobic. So that's an absurd definition. It's anti-Semitism, the hatred of Jewish people, not the comparison of one government to another. That's absurd. But secondly, so secondly, the encampment wasn't anti-Semitic. In fact, there were it actually wasn't. I'm telling you, it wasn't. So in the encampment,
everybody saw it.
No, Jews were actually allowed to go to class. Yes, they were. I was in the encampment. You're wrong. Jews were allowed to go to class. Jews were allowed to go to class.
Hold on.
Jewish students were allowed to go to class, and on Wednesday when the encampment was taken down, there were hundreds of Jewish students there.
How about Zionists? How about Zionists? Were Zionists let in the camp?
Okay.
Actually, Zionists didn't get into the encampment.
No. Did you let them in?
Agitators were removed, yeah.
No. Zionists. Were Zionists allowed in the camp? Yes or no?
I am.
Were Zionists allowed in the camp? Yes or no?
Okay, one at a time. I know a lot of people want to talk to me.
Too many people. Please. Time's up. Okay.
Yeah.
And then plan for the region. Plan for the region.
Yeah, we're gonna.
And if they said yes, you wouldn't let them in. Please stand behind that, because that's the truth.
That's not true.
Just tell the truth.
Okay.
Stand up, say it.
So you know what? Let me just ask a different thing here to you, Mr. Doyle. What do you think that your conduct and your encampment's conduct at UCLA would make Jewish students at UCLA uncomfortable enough so that they would be scared to walk to their class through the encampment or next to the encampment?
No.
Okay, did you ever experience any Jewish students expressing their fear or expressing their displeasure in it?
Not to me personally. I've seen it on social media, but I've also seen people scream, "They don't let Jews into the encampment," directly at Jewish students. So the idea that we don't let Jewish students into the encampment is just absurd.
So
it's just ridiculous. It's not true.
Doyle, seriously? You didn't see Jewish people coming to the campuses and people stayed in line, not speaking a word, and physically don't let them get in several campuses? Seriously? No. Yes or no?
Because people in the audience, you can answer this as well there. Did you not see Jewish students in the encampment?
Yeah, but who started? Again.
Who started what?
Who started the demonstration? Who started to block Jewish students from going into campuses?
No, wait.
No. Seriously.
Students were blocked from being in the encampment. It had nothing to do with their identity.
All right, let's go. You got a question over there. Milagro over there.
How y'all doing?
You know what?
I got a question. My name is Milagro Hiawatha Jones. I just graduated today from UCLA.
Congratulations.
I got a question for Brother Aidan Doyle. Now, when I first came to your encampment on Friday, April 26th, I was a staunch pro-Palestinian supporter. If you look at my music video, LA Riots, that was shot with funding from a family whose son was killed by the LAPD, and they were able to help me to get their message across. You know, I've always been a supporter of what you're a part of now. And when I came into that encampment, you know what happened to me? You guys mistook me for a Jewish student. So by mistaking me for a Jewish student, you guys physically attacked me. Lecturers, grad students, undergrad students, you guys pushed me around with open palms, and I'm an African-American student. And you done came on this stage today and brought up Zimbabwe, brought up Africa. Now you done said a lot of things about how it don't matter where you was born at. But I know in my hood, in South LA on 48th and Compton, when we did something, they were shooting us with bullets. When you guys came up against the police after you assaulted Eleanor, beat her unconscious, and that's when the community came to approach y'all, y'all got hit with rubber bullets, and you got a citation. Let's be honest. So my question to you is this. If you say that your movement was peaceful and your movement was about Palestine, then why was y'all assaulting black students? White men like you. Why was y'all attacking us? If you believe in rights against oppression, why my daddy was born before the Civil Rights Act was passed, and you stopped his son, the first graduate of university in our family, and y'all put y'all hands all over me, and y'all put y'all foot on my daughter's stroller, and y'all did it on camera and everything, with no shame. At the end of the day, every single member of SJP is gonna face the RICO Act, because y'all are a criminal organization. So answer me this, answer me this, answer me this, answer me this. If you're a peaceful movement and you respect the rights of citizens, why did y'all violate my rights?
Yes, I don't know how many times I have to say, but nobody wasn't allowed in the encampment on the basis of their identity. Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Before they walked into the library, if they believe that Israel has the right to exist, and if they said yes, you wouldn't let them in, and we have proof of that.
No, there are actually people, many people in the encampment who have a wide variety of views.
And that is a lie, and everybody here knows it, and you know it. You know it's a lie.
No, I was actually in the encampment. And I talked to people. Well, if you want to listen to what I'm going to say, you can stop yelling. Stop yelling, please.
Okay, we've heard you. Ma'am, we got your point. Thank you.
We got your point about 15 minutes ago. Okay. No. So as I said, there's a wide.
Mr. Doyle, hold on a second. I think we've got yours. Let's get the next question.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, why did you have wristbands? Why did you have wristbands?
Guys, listen.
Wait, why did you have wristbands?
I'll answer the question. Well, as you know, on Tuesday, the entire encampment was attacked by a violent mob of counter-protesters.
Why do you have wristbands?
No, in fact, I actually still have a mark from when I was stabbed by a rod. So fear of violence by agitators was a very real thing.
Okay, next question.
Hello. Hi.
Actually, we didn't give Mr. Doyle a chance to respond because a lot of stuff was going on, but Milagro said something.
Can I just say something? Guys, your questions, somebody else is going to ask the same thing, so just be patient so everyone can ask their question, and you guys can continue this as we go along, but don't yell at him because then we can't get the dialogue.
Milagro asked a question. You should answer it, and then let's move on.
Nobody violated your rights. There were instances. We didn't violate your rights.
My daughter was there.
You
didn't violate my rights.
I've literally told you like 5 times already. You can sit down now.
What?
Yeah. So people were removed from the encampment. It was because of the fear of agitation, and we actually saw that agitation when men and women in the encampment, college-age students, were throwing firecrackers at, were assaulted.
Okay, hold on though. You're not answering his question. His question was about what happened to him and his daughter, his 9-year-old daughter. Let's ask.
People were thrown. Day to the encampment, y'all started violating my rights. Friday, April 26th.
People were removed from the encampment because of fear of violence and agitation. That's why.
No, but what do you? I want you to respond to what he's saying. Are you just denying that what he said? Are you denying what he said?
No, I said people were removed from the encampment.
Okay, all right. Let's move to the next question.
Hello, thank you for the quick transition to my question. My name's Tajveer Singh. I'm actually a UCLA student, and I want to ask a question sort of delving away from the personal stuff here and getting onto what the situation is going to look like in the future. So I know someone said there hasn't been a question for Mr. Yousef, so this is for both Mr. Doyle and Mr. Yousef. My question is, how do you see this conflict ending, and why or why not is that resolution adequate in creating long-term peace and stability in the region?
It directed to any particular speaker?
I'm going to answer that super quickly, and then MOSAB can. There needs to be one-state solution with equal rights and protections for everybody, and an relatively equal distribution of the land for both Jews, Muslims, and Christians. And that means that the government, that means that the government of Hamas, the Palestinian Authority, and the Israeli government, none of them are perfectly suitable to do this, but it would require a lot of cooperation between the three.
One Arab country where Jews have full rights, or are
How would that work when there's a good number of the population in the Palestinian territories that do not want that?
What should we model after? Saudi Arabia?
No, there are a number of people in Israel that don't want a one-state solution. There are a lot of people in Palestine that don't want a one-state solution.
Wait. How can you say? How can you have a discussion with none of the Hamas representatives sitting here now, and you will never sit here right now? How can you have both sides facts if only one side is volunteered to sit here at all time? In any place you'll ask him to.
Right.
Did you see any one of the Hamas comes to sit here? To debate, to discussion?
And that's a question I was going to ask you at the end is, why is it that you think that you're the only person that we got to come up here to speak from your side of the issue?
Yeah, I can't speak for the people who didn't want to speak. But what I can say is that the view of Hamas as a completely implacable force is not completely incorrect, because they see the Palestinian issue as a very religious issue, and going back on that issue is seen as going back on God. But like we saw with the PLO, over time, they become more of a political movement and less of a nationalist movement, like we'll see with Hamas. Like we've seen with the change from 1987 charter to 1917 charter, they change and they adapt and they grow over time, and it's changing from a staunchly religious movement. Obviously, it still is a very much religious movement, but the movement itself, especially with regard to Hamas, becomes more political and becomes more malleable. The idea is that in time, if we can get Israel and Hamas to both agree to a just solution, then it's ridiculous to say, well, because Hamas is implacable now, then there won't be a solution, because Israel has also been
Hamas
implacable.
controlled the city. Hamas controls the city. Okay. I sat with one of the guards, okay, and I tried to make him picture himself flying to Thailand or a different country. It took me only 30 days. Bless you. It took me only 30 days to do so. When he tried to imagine, when he reached to the peak of the imagination, like, to do like that, it took me 30 days to make him do that. Eventually, he fell to the chair back and said, oh, I can't, but the Hamas will shoot me. Do you know that they're not allowed to get out?
Yeah.
Oh,
no, I think it's wrong.
But they control the city. Do you understand that?
No, I disagree. I don't really.
But do you understand that the Hamas controls the city, which means it controls the civilians, which means he controls any outcome or what will happen to the civilians? Do you understand that?
Sorry. No, I hope I've made it clear that don't really defend Hamas that much.
Yeah, but the Hamas controls Gaza.
It took only 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's a nuance.
No, forget. Stay with me. Hamas controls Gaza.
Yeah.
Do we agree on that?
They control some of Gaza. They control some of.
Okay. Thank you.
Look, the problem is not only with Hamas. It looks like we have to please so many opposing forces. We try to please Hamas, then we have a problem with the Islamic Jihad. Then if we please Islamic Jihad, we have a problem with the Public Front. We please this, then we have to go to FIDA. Then we have to go to national. We have about 12 Palestinian factions, and all of them have different idea of what Palestine is and what can satisfy their political ambition. Then now we have Mr. Dillon, and we have a million like him in the United States that they became legitimate force in the conflict. So Israel will have to also bring them to the negotiating table and try to please their political ambition as well. So as you see, each one of them is basically a black hole that cannot be satisfied. And all of them have one thing in common, and that's not to build a Palestine. It's only to delegitimize Israel. That's the only thing they know how to do. Because if you ask him practically, how can he actually construct a model of Palestine if he's never been there? If he was actually a sincere person, he would take a flight and go to Gaza and feel the people and see their suffering firsthand. Or if it's too dangerous for him, I wouldn't blame him. Probably he would be very terrified to be in Gaza. It's too much. At least go to the West Bank. He can go to the city of Ramallah, live with the people for a couple of years, understand their culture. And when I say a couple of years, it's not enough. In order to know the mentality of the people, you have to spend with them a decade at least of daily experience to understand what they stand for before you start advocating on their behalf. You're just taking the side against Israel for killing Gaza children, ignoring the reality that Hamas is using them as civilians, as human shields. And I've been telling you this from day one, that you have been used by Hamas. They want you to cause chaos. They want the global chaos. They want to put pressure on the US government, on the Israeli government, and all other democracies. They want to bring the civilized world to its knees from those ugly images that we see from the war. But Israel did not initiate that war on October 7th. Hamas did. And our problem is not only with Hamas, it's with the Palestinian ideology that you just want to gift Hamas and other fanatics a Palestinian state, thinking that this is going to bring a solution. This is going to create a global chaos. These people are not looking for equal opportunity. They don't want to divide the land. If they wanted to divide the land, they would have accepted the partition back in 1948. But instead of declaring their independence, they declared war against the Jewish people. Then they remembered some 40 years later to declare their independence. This is Palestinians, or what so-called Palestinians. They have many, many fundamental problems. They don't have a legitimate leadership. You know, you tell me about the camp, and like you speak on behalf of all the encampment in the United States. You run only a camp here at UCLA. There are other encampments. You are not in charge of them. And they did not even elect you as a leadership. You don't have a moral compass. You don't have an objective out of this thing. You just go in a revolution for the sake of revolution. Intifada, intifada. And you don't have a resolution. Where are you getting? What's the next shore? So, fundamentally, we have a problem with Palestine. Before we resolve this issue, we need the Palestinians to decide what they want, first of all. What's their constitution? What's their agenda? What's their leadership? And will they drop violence as a method? Will they accept Israel's right to exist? Then after that, we can have a dialogue and there can be a solution. But as long as they want to annihilate the state of Israel, kill their own children, sacrifice civilians only for your sympathy and the rest of the world's sympathy, then this cycle of violence will never end. So first of all, the forced narrative must end. Then the use of violence has to be dropped completely and unconditionally, targeting civilians indiscriminately. Then after that, there would be room for dialogue and negotiations.
And also please add up to it the basic needs, like you know in 2024, gay people, women, other basic stuff that you know are not allowed in there. So try to think what you support.
I just one point of clarification from Mr. Yousef. This will be really quick. I understand the characterization of Palestine and Hamas, but I think the answer you gave was a little retrospective. I guess I'm asking, what do you think, not what it should be like, but what it will look like? And is that good solution or good way to create stability in the region?
Look, the children of the region, you know, before they were, the Palestinian identity was enforced on them. They're just children. There are Arab children, there are Jewish children, there are Druze children, and all ethnicities can get along. Arabs and Jews can get along. And I lived that era before the first Palestinian Intifada. Things were okay. Jewish families used to come to our village and dine with us. We used to go to theirs. My father, by the way, as a Hamas leader, I remember him prior to the first Intifada, serving food with his own hands. That was just 1 or 2 years before the first Palestinian Intifada. And we coexisted together. There was no checkpoints, there was no wall, there was no stabbing. But then the Intifada came, and this is when everything changed. So in my opinion, if the Palestinian violent ideology and of Intifada, of violence, of globalizing the Intifada, of delegitimizing Israel, of canceling Israel's right to exist, if this nonsense is dropped eventually, I think Arabs and Jews can get along. But first we have to drop the ideology, and this is where I have my problem, my fundamental problem. What is Palestine and what is the purpose of Palestine? If you want to talk about security, there could be a peacekeeping force. It does not have to be a militia carrying big guns to just secure the cities, make sure that the women and the children are safe. Then we can invest in economy and we can invest in education. And it does not have to be a state at all. You know, for example, they can have the name of a state. Take, for example, the Vatican. It's a state without borders, but it's one of the most powerful states in the world. And Palestinians don't have to control the borders and have an army and become existential threat to the state of Israel. So my personal opinion, there have to be a transitional period where what so-called Palestinians or Arabs are put to test, that they are able to coexist with Israel. And after that, we can do it step by step towards total cooperation between the Jews and the Arabs. The only threat in the way, and this is my concern, is the Palestinian ideology.
I don't think we can talk about future when we still have brothers and sisters inside. And I'm a person of coexistence. Like I said, please, really, we want us to respect us all equally. I can talk about peace, and I'm a peace seeker when I have literally brothers and sisters sitting down on mattresses, not seeing daylight for over almost 300 days. So I think that after our hostages will come back home, our people will come back home, there is a possibility to speak about freedom. And I'm here to say one thing and one thing only about that. If you keep repeating the same lesson with the same outcome, it will repeat again and again and again and again. That's how history repeats itself. That's that easy. If you want to change something, change your ways. Because what you're doing now, I'm sorry to say, this is exactly what the Hamas told me inside. And if you go and hear my interviews on Google, you will hear the exact that. Hamas woke up every morning and say, I have no emotion. My holiness is to kill and be killed. When I asked them, because we were in houses, when I asked them, say, is this house belong to a family? And he said, yes. So we took their clothes. He said, yes. So we took their food. He said, yes. So I said, so how is it different that what you say is happening to your people? Oh, they don't care. They take their own houses of their own people. You can't educate people with the same lesson, with the same outcome every single time. You want to make a change? Change your ways. Choose something different.
So, thank you, Moran. Are there any people who support pro-Palestinian movement in the audience that would like to ask a question?
Yeah.
Yes. We need a microphone over there. You want to? Yeah.
Thank you. My name is Renee. Aidan, I commend
Can't
you
hear
for...
you.
Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. My name is Renee, and I'm from Jordan, and I grew up there. Aidan, as a young man, I commend you for putting on a suit and coming out here tonight. I appreciate that from a professor, okay? But you also have to have enough humility to know that you don't know enough. And I'm telling you that as an Arab. So where would I rather live? Tel Aviv or Gaza? Who would I rather live amongst? Hamas, which is what you're advocating for. I also believe that it's words and your actions are incredibly dangerous. So you're not doing my people any good by these encampments. If anything, you're empowering Hamas, Hezbollah, ISIS, and the plethora that are kind of in breeding right now. So like I said, I appreciate, you putting on a suit and coming here and speaking for my people. My people don't want you speaking for them because you're not helping us. You can shake your head.
I have a question.
You can shake your head. You can shake your head.
I don't claim to speak for the people of Jordan. I don't know what.
Well, the Jordan, Palestine, same thing. Listen, don't be rude,
I'm asking you.
Look,
okay,
it's not the same thing, but no, actually, here's the thing. Here's one thing you don't know.
Okay, hold on. Let her speak.
Before the British mandate, I could have been a Palestinian instead of a Jordanian or Egyptian. It's the same people. So don't act like you know my people better than myself or Yousef. So that's the arrogance that I have with the encampments. This is the arrogance and the problem that I have with the encampments. I came here tonight with a fucking taser because you think you're protesting peacefully? I'm gonna be okay showing up here by myself because white, entitled, spoiled Americans want to get attention? That's what you're standing up for. You're making it worse for Arabs here and back home. So, you're not doing any of us.
I have a question for you. Can I ask a question not regarding politicians?
Yeah. Any other pro-Palestinian students or adults?
Can I ask a small question?
Yes.
A small question, like a really friendly question. What will happen if me and you will text and we'll meet up in a bar in the middle of the US next to the campus? Just with your agenda, me with my opinions, and then your friends will see you from the side. What will happen?
You mean my friends from the encampment?
Your friends that support the same agenda that you support. And I'm wearing my Star of David and all my Judaism signs. What will happen if they'll see you in a casual conversation with me?
I think they'd probably be fine with it.
Doyle, I was disconnected from civilization for 2 months. It took me half a minute to understand that something will happen to me. I was forbidden to speak Hebrew in London next to students. You know that? Because they feared my life. I'm not allowed to put Star of David in many, many cities. Did you know that?
That's wrong. That shouldn't happen.
But it happens because students support it. I'm not afraid of all...
I don't support you. Well, you're talking to me.
Okay, so Doyle, let's meet up tomorrow in your campus.
Yeah.
Next to the...
Aidan, you want to meet with her?
Yeah, sure.
All right, great. That's progress. Any pro-Palestinian people here that would like to speak?
I am not self-described as pro-Palestinian, but I am pro-human rights. So
Okay,
I'm gonna ask
that's good enough for me.
regardless. First, I would like to say Baruch Hashem for your safe return, and we are very happy to have you here. I would also like to thank MOSAB from the bottom of my heart for being here as well. You've been a great voice for the Jewish people, and we appreciate you. After reading your book, MOSAB, I learned that even the most radical people can be de-radicalized. So in the face of bigotry and anti-Semitism on college campuses and across the world, how do we go about de-radicalizing more people like Mr. Doyle?
Look, ideology is a construct, and this is, I speak from a personal experience because I was able to change the way I think and the way I perceive reality. It requires lots of courage that we should work on ourselves and be able to drop our false identities, not actually empower them. Palestine or Palestinian, again, it's a construct, and we can deconstruct that. But first of all, we need either to drop it completely or to reshape it of something that is useful. And that's what I'm saying. You want to be a Palestinian, I don't have a problem. If they insist on that identity, ideology, then I have no problem. But I need to see their constitution, what actually makes them Palestinians. And how can I satisfy their needs, their wants, their ambition? And who is the leadership? Am I talking to students on UCLA campus that they're completely irrelevant to the reality of the Middle East, that actually don't have a connection or power to force Hamas to release one hostage or to force Hamas to step down and get out of the way of the Arab and Jewish children so they can live their life? They don't have that kind of power. They cannot convince Hamas. Hamas won't listen to them. They don't have authority. But they are working freely to advocate on behalf of Hamas propaganda. So we are not helping the situation. We are empowering this ideology, we are globalizing it, and we are getting infinite forces from everywhere to take part of this complicated matrix of the Middle East. So my suggestion, first of all, we need to localize it, not globalize it. And anti-war activity is something, but to delegitimize a democracy by spreading all type of allegations, like for example, a genocide, this is a very serious allegation. And when the ICJ judge say that there is no genocide, then it's finished. The people with the authority on the topic said the final verdict, the final word, but the pro-Palestine and the encampment did not suit them well. They wanted the genocide allegations to continue for eternity because it's serving their agendas now. So I'll have to meet with every force that came to join the cause, the angry cause. How can we solve the problem? We will never be able to solve the problem this way. So we need to localize the problem. Enough, we don't want to globalize it. And we need the people of the region who has the authority to decide for themselves. I think today the Palestinians came to realize that violence is a dead end. What Hamas did, a momentum of 36 years of violence, what they achieved, the destruction of Gaza and the suffering of so many civilians, innocent children. Now they realize, I think, that this is a dead end. They're going nowhere. And I think this is the best indication. Later on, I hope for the Arabs of that region to elect and nominate a reasonable leadership that cares for the future of the children, and not to get them involved in this vicious cycle of violence by giving nonsense solutions and speaking on behalf of a region that we don't understand.
Thank you.
Any other pro-Palestinian people here? Are you pro-Palestinian? Yeah? Okay.
No, back there.
I don't know if
Hi, my name is Yahya, and I've seen war. Question for Doyle. I know you represent yourself, but as you know, most Palestinians do not accept a Jewish state in any border. Why could there be 22 Arab states, 49 Muslim states, but there can't be an Armenian state, nor Kurdish state, nor Jewish state, which are minorities in the Middle East? Do you see yourself as being moral for only one type of people?
No, I think I made it abundantly clear that the solution that I see.
If you're representing yourself, then what are you doing representing the Palestinian cause? Like you're not part of the Palestinian cause.
No, I only represent myself.
A Jewish state. Why are you representing a group of people that are totally object to your opinion?
What do you? No, they don't. I think there should be one. I think there should be one state with equal rights for everyone. That's my solution.
No, what he's saying that the Hamas and the Palestinian want to eliminate Israel. That's what he's saying. The Hamas, the agenda of the Hamas, which is true, it's saying it daily. The Hamas agenda and the civilians' agenda, not most of them, how it is, not 100% support the same purpose, but most of them wants to eliminate Israel, which means to destroy and kill, not to move to a different place. That's what he's saying. That's it. I was just sharpening it.
Yeah, so I guess the premise of the question is that many Palestinians want to destroy Israel. I think no, it's no. So a political situation in which the current state of Israel and the current state of Palestine, in whatever forms that they have taken up as of right now, don't exist, does not mean that you want to kill everyone in the region or kill all the Jewish people or kill all the Palestinians. And I think that when Netanyahu says that he doesn't believe in a Palestinian state, I don't take that to mean that he wants to kill all the Palestinians. Just like when Hamas in their charter says that they don't believe in a Jewish state, I don't take that to mean that they want to kill all the Jews.
It's in their charter.
If you don't support it, then how you guys permitting
It's in their first charter. You read it?
All right.
It says murder every Jew, not Israeli.
Yeah. So the 1987. Yes. The 1987.
Ma'am, please.
Sorry, I have the microphone.
Mr. Doyle, I think we got to
long time.
We got to wrap it up here. All right. We heard what you said.
I'm here with the microphone, sir. Can you sit down, please?
Hold on.
Don't see with open eyes what's going on in the Middle East. It's not Palestinian and it's not Jews, it's Iran.
Please, let's just put on the table and
put the money everywhere to destroy the Jews, because the Jews is the little ones, and then they'll go after the Gentile, then they'll go after anybody. As long as Iran has mullahs that support the creation of the Muslim world to be Muslim, we'll have always a problem. I've been in the West Bank. I served in the West Bank. I have nothing against Palestinians. Now I have something that you have to realize. And if you don't realize, you've been sponsored by Qatar, which is sponsored by Iran. Until this mullah running the world,
ask a question.
We'll have a problem. I don't care what anybody says. Palestinians themselves are peaceful people. I'll be the first one. I deal with them. I do business with them. as long as Iran agitates. And agitating means money. Support the extreme people will have a problem. UCLA.
Okay,
Maybe you should direct your question.
I'm sorry, I've got my microphone. I've been waiting. I have an important question. This is for you, Doyle.
This will be the last question for now.
Yeah, thank you.
We can do more of these if you want.
Okay. So, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but since about 2018, there have been settlements of Palestinian families in Afrin, which is the part of Kurdistan that's occupied by Syria. And this has been a part of a movement to Arabize the region and to decrease Kurdish presence there. And it's been with financial support from the Palestinian Authority and other Arab states. And this is just one very recent example, but I'm curious why you don't take into account pan-Arabism as an ideological movement of ethnic and cultural hegemony when you're discussing the things that are prolonging the conflict and what that means and has meant for minorities of the region and how that has been a fuel for the ongoing resistance to any minority independence or sovereignty, including Jewish.
Yeah, good question. So, the establishment of settlements in any region that results in the ethnic cleansing of that people, whether it's Kurdish, whether it's Palestinians, whether it's anybody, is something that I, in principle, don't agree with. So I don't agree with the creation of settlements in order to ethnically cleanse the Palestinian region. But if you're going to ask about pan-Arabism in the context of the Palestinian, the Israel-Palestine conflict, well, it's completely contradictory towards both the Palestinian Authority and Hamas. It's contradictory towards Hamas because pan-Arabism is in complete contradiction to any sort of Islamic state, and it's in contradiction to Palestinian nationalism.
Is the Palestinian flag identical then to the flag of the Kingdom of Hijaz, to the flag of the Ba'athist movement? And what are the symbolic representations of that flag? So if you're going to say that it's a completely distinct and independent nationalism, then I want to know how you explain overlaps with other Arab nationalism.
Yeah, so the idea of a nation is, as I said earlier on, it is not whether you want to say that Palestinians are the same as Jordanians or the same as Lebanese. Well, nations are not actually created based on ethnic lines. Rather, they're realized, and then the ethnic distinction between nations are realized, and this has been the case across the world. So any genetic similarities or any cultural similarities between Palestinians and Jordanians or Palestinians and other Arab countries is actually relevant. And first of all, well, let me just finish. Because well, first of all, Palestinians are actually quite genetically distinct from other Arab countries like Saudi Arabia. But even if that's irrelevant, the existence of a nation, even if Palestinians were identical to every other Arab country, that doesn't mean that they don't have a right to a nation. And we've seen with no creation of.
Palestinians have a right to a nation. That's not my question.
Oh, okay.
It's about pan-Arabism as an ideological agent in this conflict and opposition, regional opposition to any minority sovereignty, and that having been a shared agenda of multiple Arab nations, including the Palestinian nation. And this is consistently brushed away, ignored, in order to paint Zionism as an ideological agent against a sort of a organic, natural desire for nationalism, which is what the Palestinians mean.
Yeah. So if pan-Arabism was the dominant, well, for one, pan-Arabism as a dominant ideology largely died out in the 60s and 70s. But if you're asking about, well, as a dominant, the Hamas chart is in complete contradiction to pan-Arabism. They're literally ideologically completely distinct from each other. It's impossible for pan-Arabism to exist and the Hamas Islamic Charter to exist. But on the question of, yes, I'll answer your question. If pan-Arabism was really as dominant as you said, then the existence of Lebanon as a nation, as Jordan as a nation, of Saudi Arabia as a nation, they wouldn't exist.
All right, thank you. Okay, this woman's been very patient and really persistent, so I'm going to give her a quick question.
This question is for the both of you. What does from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, and intifada, resistance by all means necessary mean to the both of you? And also, would you be able to tell me what the gender apartheid is in all of the neighboring countries around Israel? Gender apartheid towards women and the treatment of the LGBT community in all of the Arab countries besides Israel. Would you both be able to tell me? I want both of you to answer these questions, please.
Yeah, sure. Well, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. All Palestinians are free from the occupation, that they don't have to face discrimination, that they don't have to face apartheid, and that they don't have to face oppression by the Israeli government, and that they don't have to face these constant incursions into Gaza, which, by the way, are designed to be asymmetrical, to target civilian infrastructure, and to make sure that Hamas has as little public support in Gaza as possible. And next, you said about the gender apartheid. It's actually not that hard for me to. It's not that hard for me to say that women and men should have equal rights in every country.
It's not up to you. The gender apartheid and the treatment of LGBT in every country besides Israel. Would you be able to tell me what you know about it?
He's never been there.
Yeah, so the gender apartheid is well, it's not the correct use of the term, but but yeah, women in Iran and Saudi Arabia
and Gaza.
In Gaza, yes, in Gaza, they should have equal rights.
Yeah.
Really
Okay, thank you. So you guys, they're going to shut down the lights on us if we don't wrap this up. But I want to say something just in closing.
I have a question for Mr. Youssef. I'm right here.
We're on our way out. Where did this?
Wait, who's
I'm right here.
the show?
I'm right here. I don't know if you can see me, but you're looking at me right now. So, Mr. Youssef, thank you so much for coming tonight, and this question is directed towards you. Since October 7th, I have noticed more and more people beginning to proudly walk around wearing the keffiyeh, specifically non-Arab people and also people in queer spaces, which I am a part of since I am queer myself. How do you feel when you see queer people and university students, specifically non-Arab people, wearing the keffiyeh as a sort of support and saying, we support the Palestinian people? How do you feel seeing that? Because personally, I feel more and more scared walking around in America as a queer Iranian Jew. And it really breaks my heart seeing this, and I want to know, what do you have to say to these people proudly walking around with the keffiyeh, not knowing the significance? Thank you.
I think you probably know his answer, but go ahead.
The only way I feel that I'm in the wrong business, because I could have sold millions of these keffiyehs and became rich out of the conflict. So I've been missing out. People can wear whatever they want to wear. I don't have a problem with people wearing a keffiyeh. People make dresses out of it. People might make some underwear out of it. It's not my problem. It will never make them authentic. And they will never be part of the reality of the Middle East. They will continue to be part of a virtual reality disconnected from the real world. And I guarantee you that this is not only his or their problems. In life, they are disconnected from reality. They are living in an alternative reality. And this is where they think they rule, by how many followers they have. But eventually, you know who decides the reality on the ground? The brave soldiers who are fighting the real fight in the face of the monsters. At the end of the day, okay, I agreed to come to this debate, but I didn't think that is going to be this ridiculous. Anyway, I choose to come to someone who's living in their own head, and they want to defy a 45-year of solid experience that has the power of gravity that can take a galaxy in if necessary. So he can go on thinking in his head, but at the end of the day, the powerful soldiers, those are my people. Those are the ones who are going to decide the day, and those are the ones who will write the history, and everyone else will read it.